Hey, what's up, guys? It's Tone, Space Time Healing, and today we are going to discuss the very first card in the minor arcana of tarot, which is the Ace of Swords. So this is my first video that I've been meaning to do this for every card. So that's about, what, 78 videos. So here we go. The first card, the Ace of Swords. So if we look at the Ace is the very first card of Swords. The Ace is a motion card, meaning that something is going to cause you to move forward. To actually move means to tap into something that's going to cause you to move. So something has to motivate you to move. And with the Ace, it is the very first spark of realization, the very first seed in manifestation. It's actually on the tree, when discussing the tree of life, it's actually on Kether, on the tree of life, which is knowing and understanding and actually planting that seed and looking at the logic that is around you. And you know, the Ace of Swords is in the suit of air. Swords represent air and reason, so you see that logic right there, and this sword is moving forward in motion. So it really is the seed of intellectual power, logic, sound of reason, planting first the seed of manifestation. If you do see me look down, it's because I am working on my master Thoth book. So I refer to my notes because it's easier than jumping on technology. So we have the seed of intellectual power, the symbol of unstructured, not created. So this hasn't even started yet. Like I said, it's the very first seed in manifestation. It's the primary matter would be first. Primary is first, and matter would be the energy and content. So if you look at the word primary matter, that's what that would mean there. It would mean first and energy of content. You know, so you let your mind work over the elements, over the air element. You're invoking powers, you're a whirlwind of the thinking mind. There's clearness, there's logic, there's a feeling of proactiveness, which is what is going to motivate you. You have that anxious, curious energy. You want to actually get up and go do the things that it's going to take for you to manifest your destiny and stuff like that. The Magician, okay, so now if you look at the card here, the Magician bursts through, the Magician's sword burst through the clouds. Now we say magician because it does take a magician to manifest something out of thin air, and that's what that sword is doing. So it's going to burst out of that thin air. In Thoth there, Crowley's Thoth. Of course, the basis of this is Egyptian Hermetics, which is my primary practice. So the Magician bursts through the clouds at the bottom and points up to the crown. And this is actually the same sword as the adjustment card in Libra. So this is an adjustment thing too. This is a very stable thing. Oops. So the sun rises on the horizon, it bursts through the cloud. You see the crown of the sword is white because white actually represents Kepher, which is the crown. Then you'll see the yellow inside, which is Tiprith and beauty. So if you look at the tree of life, it's moving from Kepher, which is the crown, which I said earlier, that's knowing, and then it's going to Tiprith, which is beauty, because it really takes you to be in tune and for you to acknowledge beauty. You do not see beauty if you're in a very dark place. Once you open your mind up, you're looking at beauty, you're understanding it, it's around you and things like that. So that in itself will feel like curious energy. You'll want to do things. It could only be fulfilled by actually being productive. You know, then we see the hilt on the sword is actually made from the copper of Venus. I found this very interesting. The hilt on the sword is made from Venus, and what's Venus associated with? Love. So, one second here. So, the hilt on the sword is associated with Venus. It takes love to motivate yourself before you can do anything else. You have to love yourself. You have to be sure. You have to feel that compassion and understanding for you to really want to get motivated. So that's what that stands for there. And then that's in the sun of Tipperith, which will equate the motivation. So it is actually, so Tipperith will represent the sun, which the sun's going to give us strength and give us energy and things like that. I personally see the sun as the figure of God, or I refer to him as Atum Ra, or the All. I primarily refer to my supernatural higher power as the All. But that's just me. That's how I choose to practice, because I'm a free spirit and I have, that's it. Yes. Anyway, so we have sword. We have the sword, which is the clarity, moving through the clouds. If you look on the blade inscription on the Ace of Swords in Thoth, you'll see the words Greek for will. So it actually inscribes on, I don't know if you could see it, it's kind of dark, but it actually inscribes on this sword that to will, because it does take will, you know. And as a Cancer, I can relate to will because my card in Thoth is the Chariot. So that strong will really symbolizes me. Sometimes I have no idea how I'm holding on, but I just do. We have the green, which is the sunfire, the yellow, the blue, the water. Then you have the serpent coiled 6, which is Teppereth. Now we have by the sun again. So it's 6 times, which will represent Teppereth. So that serpent there represents the sun, which reflects on what I said earlier about the sun giving you strength and giving and providing what will feel like will. You have the crescent moons balancing the energy and the sun rising over water, and then you have the fire over water. So fire over the water is complete, is a symbol of manifest in Egyptian Hermetic. So the hilt on the sword point to the rising sun, and then the 22 major arcana, what's this say here? The 22 major arcana referring to a collective wisdom symbolized by Shakma. So there's some numerology on there that's going to refer to Shakma on the tree of life, which will represent wisdom, because it's going to take that wisdom, it's going to take that knowledge when dealing with being proactive in the suit of swords. But you'll feel like there's a new perspective, moderate, you'll break old habits and stuff like that. You'll want to do good. You'll want to have new enterprises. When thinking about love, with the Ace of Swords, you may be facing a challenge. Truth of the matter might make clarity, clear decisions, clear communications, and addressing issues. So if anybody's ever focusing on love in a love spread, and the Ace of Swords does come up, that is a good point right there, what it says right there. Making clear decisions, clear communications, really looking at the relationship as a whole. And is this included in your manifest? I know a lot of times when you're involved in another relationship, your manifest becomes somebody else's manifest, but there's always polarity. Therefore, you know, it's basically what your soul truly desires and what your intentions are, because only you know what's going to be right for you. And so with money, the Ace of Swords could mean getting a new job, promotion, project might start a new light off, positive manifest, correct decisions, good news, good legal matter. If you're going through some legal matter and the Ace of Swords comes up, it may bring closure to something that you were trying to close or trying to solve, or something like that, which will lead to a manifest, because you know, that's completion. When you close something, you're opening the door to something else. Then we have the spiritual side of it, which is letting go of old belief systems, They're what I call them stigmatic muscle memory, because you're instilled with belief systems that were kind of implanted. You didn't mean to, but we are all born in a predetermined world. When we're born, we're already set. As long as we're going to be in the hands of another, and another's perception and another's human morality, we're going to have to either follow them or figure it out. So I'm not really going to get into that right now. That's probably a different story. So that's pretty much it. That was the Ace of Swords, the very first card in Thoth, the tarot of Thoth. So I appreciate it, and you guys have a very nice night. Blessed be.